Justin or for the dragon here, please raise a hand. I'll call on you. We'll do these questions. Just for asking a question, we're going to give you some sort of prize. Abby over here. There she is. She's the daughter of one of your TU football coaches, right? At least as of a little while ago. She was still here, right? You still here? Did you lose a football coach? Did that happen? He left, yeah? Peace out. Well, that's okay. We'll get another one. So we're going to do the Q&A. Ask a question, we'll call on you, and yeah, okay, here's Justin.
All right, so I have to tell you how grateful I am that you guys are here. To do a movie takes a lot of time and a lot of energy, and we've thrown our hearts and our souls into this thing, and it has been a crazy journey. But to do all of that, and hopefully actually raise the money and make the movie and then get it edited and put it all together and put it out in a festival or put it in front of an audience, you hope people show up. And there's 1,000 things you guys could have been doing tonight, and you're here. So thank you very, very much. I really appreciate it. Yeah.
Sure. Who's got questions for these guys? Yes.
Oh, absolutely. So, as you saw the animation, Duncan, his dad says music and magic in the beginning of the movie. You put them together and you've got it. Well, Duncan, that's because he grew up, in Collinsville, sort of socially isolated. That was Duncan's interpretation of music and magic. He's like, well, Dungeons and Dragons has got magic, and my dad was a rock star, and we put that together with rock and roll, and of course, all the way through there's the animation that alludes to Don Quixote and that over there. So that's just that's Duncan's version of magic. Yeah. Hello, right there.
What inspired the movie? What got you the idea?
Yeah, that's a good question. What inspired the movie? Was it you?
I inspire myself every day.
It was a combination of things. Jack Roberts, who plays Duncan, it was a combination of him always wanting to be a rock star growing up, as we probably all had that dream one time in our life. I certainly did, and it sort of didn't really work out, but it did halfway, and so I gave it a real go. And Jack used to open coffee shops in Los Angeles, and there he interviewed a guy who was incredibly awkward. And about halfway through the interview, Jack put down the paper of regular questions and just started asking this guy. He had this long mop of hair, and he was a real dude. And the coffee shop was right across the street from the Viper Room in LA. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the Viper Room. It's this really hip club to play. And he wanted to work there so he could be next to the Viper. And so Jack asked him, so what would you say are some areas of your life that you could grow, like, to really get better in life? And he's like, what are you talking about? He's like, surely you've got some areas you could grow in. And he kind of looks back to Jack and says, well, I make chicks uncomfortable. And so Jack sort of stifles a laugh and, sort of watches him and says, okay, well, why would you say that is? And kind of threw his arms up kind of like this, and he's like, well, look at me. And it was that point that Duncan Christopher really came to be, I think. Jack began to think, where did this dude come from, man? Like, he's so uncomfortable and weird and awkward. What if his dad really was a rock star, And it was that mixed with Jack's feelings, and then our sort of finding heart through broken relationship. That's that. Well, that's a good question, too. I'm from Tulsa. Jack's from Tulsa. And when we were in LA, we always sort of had this idea, wouldn't it be neat to come back? We grew up knowing a really cool Tulsa, a really vibey, like artistic Tulsa, but we've never really seen it portrayed. Oklahoma in general, it puts out amazing art, it has incredible people and great stories here, but we just had never really seen it portrayed on film in a way that I think, reveals the beauty of the places and the quirk of the places. And so So Jack wrote the script specifically for Tulsa, and we came back here to do it. So, yeah.
What is SRO?
All right, anyone else know what SRO stands for? Standing room only. Every time we get that question. I love it. That's so good.
I had the fortunate experience to be an extra in the movie, and I want to thank you very much for bringing it here. I really enjoyed it. My family did as well. I had heard that it won some accolades in some of the festivals, some awards and stuff. How does it feel when you take something that's so part of who you are that wins accolades because you have won?
Well, first of all, thank you very, very much. I'm not sure what scenes that you were an extra in, but I know that is an intensely crazy position to be in, to be there all day long for like a few shots, but it is so important, so important. So thank you very much for that. What's it like to win things? You probably know a lot about that, yeah?
Well, it really makes you feel humble, especially when you're as great as I. When you're as great as I, the modesty soaks into you from winning so many awards, and it really emanates out to the crowds that adore, cheer for you, and love you. And that's what it's like to win. You'll learn one day, the people you learn.
We haven't quite won as many awards as SI may have. I mean, 7-year rating karaoke champion. We've got a lot to live up to here, but it's good we have them on our film, so we can claim that. But I do want to answer that actually. So far, the film's won 9 awards. It's won several audience awards and jury awards, which are the biggies. And we right now we're nominated in the festival that we're flying back to on Saturday for 3 awards: Best Film, Best Director, and Best Script. It's really cool, but more than just winning awards, it is amazing to see this awkward little movie connect with so many audiences. And to be in Mar del Plata, Buenos Aires, and there is a line 4 stories up, and hundreds and hundreds of people show up to the thing. It's subtitled, and I'm going, I have no idea if this is really what's being said, but it seemed to work, and people stayed for a long Q&A after, and then formed a line, hundreds and hundreds of people long, wanting to come down and kiss us one by one to say how much the film meant to them, and like that is amazing.
We're going to do that again tonight. I'm going to start working out my lips now.
Yeah, this guy had a question.
Well, I enjoyed the characters. It's played there. It's kind of like a cross between Freddie Mercury and Dwight Yoakam. I was wondering if you had inspiration for it, or how do you like?
Whatever do you mean by character? Well, you can join my school of badassery. That's what you get when you graduate. You get my autograph and a badass belt buckle.
I did a follow-up question, if I could, just real quick. When you show the back, like the flashback scenes, I wonder how they do that in film a lot. What is it, a different film, or?
Some films don't do that. They just use the same medium and tweak it a little bit. We actually used true 8mm film on an old 8mm camera with a stock of film that's so old you can only develop it in 1 city in all the United States. And we just so happened to have our art director had that camera and brought it onto the set, and we were like, yes, use that. And I think it brought that nostalgia that it wasn't my generation, but I know of it. I've seen it, where you would put the old 8mm up, and it didn't have sound, but you'd watch it. There's something that connects back, and I thought it was just a. Oh, awesome, cool. So yeah, that was that. Yes. Well, we screened in New York at a festival there, and it was really fun. Yeah, of course, we are hoping that this is going to go definitely get a really good release throughout the United States. We're doing something very intentional here. We've spoke with a lot of different sales reps and people who don't get the full vision of what we're up to with the film, And so that's why we have brought these guys on, because we feel like it really does connect to audiences, and but because there's like not really any stars in it, Hollywood sort of, right, I'm sorry, yeah, babies don't know yet. Hollywood doesn't, they're not taking a lot of chances right now. With the recession, even though movies are making more money than they ever made, they're not taking a lot of chances right now. And whereas Napoleon Dynamite's days, they were offering like $8 million for that film. In Sundance this year, I think films were being bought for like $20,000. And so there's been a lot of offers like, oh, this is gonna be really great, we're gonna, and we just feel all the time and the energy and the passion that went into this. There's a new way. And so we are literally taking this out into the world ourselves with this man's company here, and they get it. So yes, it will be in New York. I am saying that because we're going to cause it to be that way. Yes, and we'll have DVDs and all that stuff will be coming down the road. And if you become a Facebook fan, you'll hear about all that. Who's up first?
I can answer some of that too. The film will also be available in some of the means that you're familiar with. We expect that in the not too distant future, you'll be able to get it on Netflix and iTunes and some of those types of things. Will be available online for download and that kind of stuff. What we want to do before that is show it to audiences. And so we're treating it like a rock star in a sense, in that we're touring with the film. And so and that's a unique approach, where we're treating it kind of like in one-time showings, like a band rolling into town, promoting the heck out of it, and then showing the film. Because we've been able to see through the festival thing and through even events like the college tour events we've done, how the film does with an audience. And I think you guys can see there's a certain heart to the film and a certain excitement that comes with laughing in a group. Not that you couldn't laugh in a group at your home. But we don't laugh at my home. It's just not something that we do. So we want to do that in a theater every chance we get, and hope, yeah, have her set us up in New York. You know, where's the best theater up there? I've heard of New York. Yeah. Question. Blue shirt, big smile.
How long did the whole production take from like when it popped into your head till now?
Oh wow. Okay. Well, it popped into Jack's head quite a while back. The whole process. Yeah, I think probably about 3 years. I think that's pretty accurate. Because he started writing the script in Los Angeles, obviously, because he was there, and then to get here to raise the money took us a while, to shoot the film, to edit the film, and to do where we are, to do the whole festival tour. Like we're about 3 years in, right? Yeah. Yeah, 3 years.
I'm going to do one more question. Earn it. Earn it. Earn it. Earn it? What? Oh, yep, she earned it.
I was wondering, like the art producer's normal job and everything, did you have somebody from Tulsa find all these places for you, or was it you guys, as the movie makers, did it yourself?
Yes, we, being from Tulsa, we came back here and we wanted it to be so Oklahoma-centric that we knew we needed to actually live here and breathe here and connect here. So we came back from Los Angeles intentionally, and we sought these places out. We thought about the places that would reveal Tulsa in a way we thought was beautiful, and so yeah, we absolutely did.
It seemed like there was such a connection that somebody you had to be from here.
Yes. Yeah, the entire cast and crew is from Oklahoma, including Marshall Bell, he's got like 100 films out there. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Total Recall. He was Quato's host. Twins, he was the hitman. He's been in tons of movies. I don't know if you recognize his face, but he has one of those faces. Even to date, I think he was in the new Johnny Depp movie. Him and Johnny are pretty good friends. And but he's from Tulsa, Oklahoma, and he wanted to come back and rock this movie, and he did.
All right, if you didn't get your question asked, we're going to be around for a little bit afterwards, and I know that anyone who's involved with the film would probably love to talk to you. One more thing I want to point out before we go. who here was involved with the film in some way? Being in Tulsa, I know we've got some people here in the crowd, so a lot of hands in the air. So I'd say let's give those people some applause. A lot of people in the room. Some extras, some financiers. I know there's a gentleman back here who wrote a couple of those original songs in the film, which were wonderful. So really thank you to everybody who was involved in film, and I know that the filmmakers are so appreciative. I hear it all the time, how grateful they are to the Tulsa community for stepping up and making this thing happen. I'd also, Steve Cluck I see is in the back. This is a gentleman named Steve Cluck. You might recognize him from the film Singing Karaoke. He's also the man responsible for a lot of the t-shirts that you see in the film. So I want to thank Steve for being a big supporter and for coming out. And you can take him on in karaoke later on this evening at the Max. Right, Steve? Yes. Yeah, and he loves to throw down on some karaoke.
Throw it down, Club!
So anyway, thanks so much for that. And we're going to do some giveaways. I want to thank our sponsors once again. Joe Mama's, the Max Retro Pub, Boomtown Tees. They're downtown in the Blue Dome District, and those companies are my companies, and so I can say safely that we really do support what this film is all about with those companies, and it was my pleasure to sponsor these events here in Tulsa and in Stillwater. So I'm going to welcome Shaga back up to the front, and we're going to do some prizes. One of the things that we're tying into this is the Facebook and the Twitter. If you're wondering, how can I help, or what can I do to be a part, it's really that simple. We're going to ask you to tweet this, to update your Facebook status, and talk about coming to the film tonight. Encourage your friends to be a part. The bigger our Facebook fan base or Twitter follower base, the easier it is for us to share the word as the film moves forward and to communicate with you so that you can look out for the things to come. We've got a great soundtrack for the film, and we're hoping to have that available for download soon. We want to be able to let you know that you can continue to have a relationship with the film after today. So thanks again, and here's Shaga.
Awesome. We just got a last minute one snuck in there. Before we begin with the prizes, I wanted to invite Steve Duncan up here. Thank you so much for hosting.